Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present Home Impodcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan.
What's up, pal?
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
It's going well. I mentioned to you before we started recording that we've been doing a lot of podcasts lately, banking some of them and some of them for a ways in the future, but everything's kind of starting to blur together, and I don't know what we've talked about when.
It's hard. It's hard to keep track of everything.
And the episodes are all sort of the same because it's home improvement, and
I'm surprised that I guess our listeners will tell us if our quality has gone down, but like today and other days, you've asked, hey, can we record today? And I haven't watched the episode yet.
Yeah,
so,
I know. It's hard.
It's kind of a fly-by-night operation, as you like to say.
We might get another 3-star review that answers a question we posited on air. That's how our fans typically like to communicate with us.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
We're playing a dangerous game.
The most dangerous game, in fact.
Have you ever seen the old original film of that?
No, I'm familiar with the
book.
I don't even know if it was a book or a story, but I have.
I'm pretty sure
awareness.
we read it right around the same time as we read the Monkeys Paw in school.
Oh, I like the Monkeys Paw.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was on TCM I don't know, 6 months ago, and so I watched it. It wasn't too bad.
Not too
Black
bad.
and white, so it's an older film.
An oldie but a goodie.
Oldie but a classic.
I say Monkeys Paw. It's kind of what I would call an allegory.
Oh,
yeah. How's that for a $5 word, Jordan? We got to make this more about home improvement because we're
going to do it right
a
now.
home improvement podcast. We are not an allegorical podcast. We are not a Monkey's Paw podcast. Monkey Paws cast. We are a home improvement podcast. So Jordan,
can I share with you a story?
Share a riff. Yeah.
So yesterday I was made aware by my friend. Why are you laughing at that?
I don't know. I thought of the Alanis Morissette song of the mess you left when you went away. I think it's went away, anyways. But
yeah.
Carry on. Sorry.
Close enough.
Yeah.
He's got some inside connections for this place. I don't know if you've heard of it, called Disney World.
Yeah, vaguely familiar. Yeah.
Vaguely familiar.
Mickey, Goofy.
Some people go there.
Tigger, I think. Yeah.
Another person who went there is our white whale, the man who we cannot get on this podcast, Tim Allen. He was there just 15 or so miles from me, and I did not make my way over there. But they're opening a new Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios, and so he was there with Buzz, hooting and hollering.
Was Tom
saying
Hanks
to
there
infinite.
or no?
I don't care about that.
Yeah. I mean, why would you? No one likes him.
I was not made aware of that
information. No one likes
information.
the Oscar-winning Tom Hanks. Yeah.
The one who played Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah,
played Mr. Disney.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I didn't see that movie. Well, it's too bad you missed him, Jordan.
I know. And put it. When we get him on the show, it'll just be a long, winding tale of how we got to him.
Here's a question: what's the deal with Toy Story 4? Is it coming out? Is it been delayed or something?
I think it's on the schedule, but it's still a year or two. I'd have to look. They have a date scheduled for it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what the storyline's going to be, but I'm sure they'll pick up right where they left off.
Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good to me.
That's what you're into.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I don't know.
What else is going on with you? Have you seen anything home improvement related lately?
Oh yeah. I saw Brad on Fox and Friends a couple weeks ago. He was there for a morning. I don't know. I watched it in the morning. I don't know if it was actually a morning show or not. But I mean, you can kind of guess what's steeped in all of that, and bit of a bummer. But it seems Brad and I don't align politically. But hey, I hope he still comes on the show sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we can tolerate anything, right? We can
well within reason. Yeah.
No, we're friendly to all people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're also 420 friendly.
Well, you mention that every time you can, so it's nice of you. I'm surprised they would reach out to him. I guess I don't know. I don't know.
My guess is there are not a lot of. How do I say this?
Don't worry, I can edit it out.
Okay, there are not a lot of A-list celebrities that are especially interested in going on the
All right,
record.
we're definitely not getting Brad in now.
Okay.
Way to go.
That are interested in going on the record as being major, advocates for that political regime. And I don't want to get any more specific, Jordan. I don't want to alienate our audience.
I
so
tell
let's
you
get
what,
away.
you really navigated that really well.
Let's get away from this. What else, Jordan?
What else?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I woke up on, I don't know.
A lot of waking up between us. We're waking up watching Fox and Friends. You're waking up.
We're staying woke.
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday morning, maybe, I looked at my phone and I looked at Twitter, and Tim Allen was trending, so
You were nervous.
I'm a bit nervous, you know?
Yeah,
so you just never know. You never know what causes people to trend on Twitter these days. But
Sure.
I looked, and he has formally, probably informally, announced the return date of Last Man Standing.
I would like him to formally announce it. Get a stenographer.
He did the same thing that LeBron did, where they just took a picture of a Word document that said LeBron went to LA.
Oh man, that was a shocker. So they announced? Did you get a specific date on that?
I think it was September 29th.
Okay, well,
coming around this fall.
Mark that in your calendar, Home Impodcast listeners, and we'll probably do an episode on it before then. Possibly.
Don't make any promises you can't keep.
Not definitive, but it's a strong possibility. Jordan, that's all I really got. I mean, I think
you don't have to, delay the start of the show. We've got a great episode on tap.
I know, but in many ways, my favorite part of doing the podcast is the beginning and kind of the,
You think it's all downhill from there? It's like a roller coaster. You work your way up.
I know we're a home improvement podcast, but my favorite parts of recording are the parts we don't talk about home improvement. No, I'm just kidding. This week we're covering
you don't even know. I'll tell you.
A silly episode, No Godot.
Yeah, episode 95. This one written by Bob Bettinson. This is his last episode that he's going to write for the series.
Hey, I don't want to divulge too much, but I think he's going out on a high note.
Yeah, Borland Ambition was the last one he did.
Oh, I like that one too.
You did?
Yeah.
That was when Al kind of went overboard on Mary's Hardware.
Yeah. Oh, no, I thought that was the one where Al was a sex symbol.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, keep going.
Talk about things blending together.
Yep.
You know what this episode aired, Adam?
My birthday when I was 5.
Yeah,
you
March
knew.
March 21st, 1995. I keep track of those things.
Yeah, I remember watching it. No.
You say that every time it's around your birthday.
Yeah, I vaguely remember the family all gathering around our massive TV that weighed 2,000 pounds. We sat down and I had a birthday cake with the Pistons mascot Hooper on it, and we watched this episode, and I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
To this day, Hooper.
I heard I'm going to interrupt you because I don't think that's going to work out. I heard the Pistons signed a guy today named Max Hooper, which is like the best basketball name you could possibly have.
What?
That'd be like a guy being named like...
Who's Max Hooper?
Jason Dunk,
Jordan Assist.
Yeah, Adam Rebound. All right, back to the show, Jordan. We're
going
off the rails.
Yeah. All right. Obviously, based on how I ended the last episode with not really being able to pronounce the episode title, I didn't know that this episode title was a reference to the play Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. Have you ever seen it?
Never heard of it, no.
No. So since we didn't hear of it, we didn't like the episode title originally, we're going to come up with alternative titles, of which I have 3.
I have 1, 2... I have 5.
Jeez, go for it.
I don't know. Sometimes
you just like to lead off and bat last.
I do. I like to have my cake and eat it too. All right, I'll start. No, Godot. Sure, we'll go with Godot. Don't break the law.
And that's a lesson we all can learn.
Yeah.
We can all learn that one.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start with probably my best one. They're just going to get worse as we go on. How about Flannel is the New Black?
Okay. What? I mean, it's a good title. I don't know how it factors into this episode per se.
Well, who's in the jail? Flannel Man.
But what? Nah, whatever. All right.
All right. Well, if that's any indication of my other ones, we're in trouble.
I think it's clever. I just don't get it. But you'll connect the dots for me when we get to that point in the episode. Next one for me, Jordan. I'm tired of this.
Tired of what in particular?
The tire.
Oh, no, I didn't know if you were tired of anything in particular.
I don't know. This is a similar plotline to something we've seen before, I guess. But
sometimes I think of you as my Pozzo in crime.
Crime. All right, here's something similar. The definitive putzes.
They sure are. When the parents are away, the kids will paper mache.
Oh, that's good. It's long, but it's good.
it's more of a motto.
All right. Jordan, how's this one? In the pen box.
The last episode you said you didn't know much about hockey, but I think you might.
Yeah, just a little something.
All right, do you have one more?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm fresh out.
Probably my best one. Jailbirds and Red Wings. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy right now.
Yeah,
This is amazing. Mm-hmm. All right, plot synopsis by Bernie. Bernie's back in the fold. Mm-hmm. Tim and Jill are to double date with Al and Eileen at a play, but first, Tim and Al have to sell tickets to a hockey game. Tim and Al get caught scalping the tickets. Wilson watches the boys while Tim and Jill are out. And a kitty has a lot to say in the back.
She's vocal. Yeah. She likes this episode.
She loves Bernie or the episode or both.
I don't know what's going on with her, but hopefully it's done.
All right, so let's start with something we're tired about or tired of seeing. We open on Tool Time, and
I'm tired about this.
We'll have to tell me exactly what you're tired about in a minute, but they're talking about tire.
Talking tires with Ivan Jordan.
All right, tire week on Tool Time. They're tightening some lugs, changing a tire. I've only done this maybe once or twice in my life, and it's been a long time. But
I've never done it.
No. Yeah. I've got AAA now, so I don't do those sorts of things.
I don't even have to, but it would be cool to know how.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
Tim brings out somebody who definitely knows how, and that's the IndyCar pit crew for
Robbie Gordon.
Robbie Gordon? Yeah, Robbie Gordon.
He's a real guy. I looked him up, but I don't have any information on him.
I thought he was made out of paper mache.
It's you can tell he's not an actor. The second he delivers the line of dialogue, so.
Yeah, that's how they roll. They changed a tire. His pit crew, I should say, changed a tire or a set of tires in 14.1 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
According to IMDb, that's about average. So I'm supposed to be impressed, but I guess I'm not after reading that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a thought as I was watching them do this, and that's, if this were my job and my livelihood, I think I could do it too. If that's really the only thing they have to be able to do is change these tires quickly,
I don't know what else they do. I would imagine they do more as a pit crew, but who knows?
If that's all they do, then I think I could probably get pretty good at that myself. Yeah.
Well,
I guess I don't mean to throw shade, but
I guess it's time for a career change then.
yeah, I think so.
They talked to the lead driver, Robbie Gordon, for a little bit. Tim says he's pretty good at changing tires as well.
You knew where this was heading. I thought he might do it against Al, but yeah.
He didn't. No, it would have been pretty easy to have one on each side of the vehicle, but they did not. Nope. Instead, Tim tries to demo. He struggles mightily with the weight of the tire and other such things. It takes him about 40 seconds to change his tire.
And yet the audience clapped at the end, so I couldn't tell, is this supposed to be bad or not?
It's hard to say. I mean, I can't change a tire in less than 40 seconds.
Yeah, I kind of thought he was doing a good job, and it was hard to tell if they were playing it for comedy or not.
You know how we know he didn't do a good job?
How?
At the end, a winded Tim says he was going for quality over speed, and the tire falls off.
Yeah, so. That was bad. That was a bad sign. That was when I had the first inkling that maybe he didn't go as well as I thought.
That's when stardom didn't happen.
I don't know if you mentioned the 23 tires in a baby joke.
Oh, something about that was a good movie?
Yeah, it's funny.
And that was 3 Men and a Baby, right?
That's what they're alluding to. It's funny though.
Hilarious.
It's okay. It's a fine opening scene. I mean, I don't know who Robbie.
I guess you weren't tired of it then.
I don't really think I was tired of anything in this episode, but it didn't really, it didn't do much for me, or it didn't relate to the, what was to follow. We head home. Brandy and Rad. This is a
fantastic episode.
doozy. I don't know. You know, whenever we decide to record last minute like this, I think it shows. But
And we had a false start.
we did false start. Number
On the offense.
5 on the offense. Brad and Randy, they want to go to a party at Courtney's.
Don't we all?
She's presumably their age. No chaperones are going to be there, but her 15-year-old brother is going to be in charge, and he's pretty responsible.
And tall.
And tall. He makes it to detention on time. Jill says, "No way, guys," and she heads to the garage. I will continue. Tim is working on his new hot rod. I don't know, new hot rod, however you want to say it. But
Old hot rod.
Yeah, new old hot rod. The one he purchased with Jay Leno in a close proximity. Apparently he's been out there a lot, and we haven't seen it necessarily. But he decides that to make it up to Jill, he's going to take her on a date night. Or
what are they going to do?
I mean, I can't remember the exact order, but it ends with hockey.
I think it was dinner, dancing, hockey.
Dancing, hockey, because he has some Red Wings tickets that, apparently she didn't know about, and he didn't know that Jill had opera tickets, and they're going to double with Al and Eileen.
Wait a minute, it's not an opera that they're going to?
Was it play?
Yeah, a play.
My mistake.
They're going to the theater.
Had an operatic feel.
Yeah,
actually the venue itself sort of looked like, I don't even know.
A small movie theater?
It was very underwhelming, I'll say that much.
It must have been cheap tickets that they got. The other kicker is that they already had this date planned, the double date planned, and Tim just forgot.
They need to communicate better as a couple.
That's something I've learned in 95 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, communication is lacking, and this is prime evidence of that.
The last time Jill and Tim went on a double date with Al and Eileen, it did not end well.
No, it didn't, no. And this ends arguably worse, I would say, depending on your perspective.
No more double dates. That would be my policy going forward. But they're going to agree to it, and we move on to the next scene where Tim is trying to sell the tickets without luck. He's on the phone I guess he's calling everyone in his little black book, but everyone's got either a wedding or a funeral, open heart surgery, all sorts of things going on. I'm wondering how many people are doing March weddings in Michigan.
It's an interesting question. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah, I've never been to one.
No, I think I've been to one winter wedding in like November.
Yeah.
Something like that. But Tim says, you know what? We'll just try to scalp them outside the venue before the play starts. They're in close proximity, so we can do that. Wilson then knocks at the door, arrives. He will be the babysitter. There is a very poor thespian-lesbian joke that Tim...
Yikes. Yeah. That hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. A big thud, yeah. They don't even really have the stones to, really commit to it, because, no one ever says lesbian, but, Tim says thespian, and he kind of raises his eyebrows, and it's like, okay, this is about as 90s as it gets, my man.
I guess this is why Bob left the show. Wilson brought a big bowl of Colombian popcorn. You know what Colombian popcorn is, don't you, Adam?
Roasted ants?
Yeah.
This reminded me of something, Jordan. I'd like to take a second to tell you about it.
Please.
No, it's not that interesting, but I read an article in, it must have been ESPN, the magazine, out in Seattle, Safeco Field. They have kind of they have a chef type that runs their ballpark food, and they have a delicacy out there called roasted crickets. Comes in a small cup, and I guess the fan base just goes wild for it.
Yeah, I think that comes, a lot of, well, not a lot, but on the West Coast, there's a little bit more of an Asian influence, and I think that comes from there. So,
would you eat roasted crickets?
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll try anything. I'll try anything once.
It would be hard for me to stomach it after looking at it, but I hear they're very high in protein.
So if I blindfolded you, you'd do it.
If you folded it into something, like a cricket cake, maybe.
All right, yeah,
I'd be in for that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, he's eating roasted ants, and I don't know. Tim doesn't seem too upset about it.
No, I think he says they just need a little salt or pepper or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds good. Flying through the plot.
Sure.
We are back at the parking lot, and I didn't mention this earlier.
At the parking lot. Have we been there before?
Oh, we haven't been there yet?
No, it's the first time.
All right, well, edit it out, I guess. We are at the parking lot. And Jordan, this scene has kind of a noir sort of feel to it.
I guess I get what you're saying.
It's lightly misting, which I don't know if that was I gotta assume that they didn't plan on that happening because there's no real reason for it to be. But there's a light mist. Everything's kind of
in black and white.
It's black and white. Humphrey Bogart's there.
There's a cigarette and smoke in the background.
No, but everybody's wearing Tim and Al are both wearing the same trench coat. It's kind of like a tan colored trench coat, and then a couple of extras walk by, and they're also wearing the same trench coat. Which I don't know if somebody just got a bunch of these trench coats in bulk, but I noticed that. But yeah, it's very noirish, and Tim's trying to sell the tickets. He's not having much luck. He's being a little too.
Man, why wouldn't he just take the first guy who was going to buy him for $40 or something?
Yeah, somebody offers him 40, and then somebody else offers him 10. But the thing with this is it's illegal to scalp tickets, Jordan. And Tim is, he's just being too blasé about the whole thing. He needs to be a little bit more overt. Eventually, a guy comes up. And I'll do a bio on this guy at the end. But he's wearing a bunch of Red Wings gear. He's an older gentleman, and him and Al bond over their performances in the play because Al was he plays Pazzo in the play.
Yeah,
Godot, and this guy played someone else, presumably.
No, they both played Pazzo, I think.
They both played Pazzo. Two Pazzos don't make it right. Yeah, so they're bonding. They recite some dialogue back to one another, and eventually, right before the transaction goes down, this guy reveals himself. He reveals his badge, not reveals himself.
Especially after that trench coat talk. My goodness.
Very noir. Home Impodcast After Dark. He reveals his badge, and he is a cop. They are under arrest.
Yeah, it's not great. This guy's pretty smooth.
He's a smooth operator. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's what you meant by noir. This smooth guy right here.
This smooth operator his name is Max Gale, and he happens to be from Detroit, Michigan.
Wow.
Gotta be a coincidence. Nominated for 2 Primetime Emmys. He was in the television show Barney Miller. He was in the film 42. That's relatively recent. DC Cab and Quantum Leap. Jeez. Quantum Leap.
It's a lot of leaks.
That's where Scott Bakula just, pisses in his drawers 30 minutes straight. He's on General Hospital right now. So, yeah, Max Gale. It's, I don't know. He's all right. He's cool.
No, I mean, like you said, he's smooth.
Yeah.
We saw it coming because we know it was going to happen, but they did not. So
I have a hypothetical story, Jordan, that I can tell you that I'd like to share with you about.
I think we could tell a hypothetical story every single scene.
Yeah, about someone that I know and their father who got busted for trying to buy tickets from a scalper. So I'll just go ahead, and this is hypothetical.
Yeah, I don't know who this could be about, but it could. This is kind of like a PSA, don't do this.
Learn from this guy's father's mistakes. So I think it was probably 2002 or so, and this guy and his father were down around Ford Field. They were Lions fans, and they were for whatever reason the father had driven the son down there for a Lions game, but didn't have any tickets. And he felt confident that he was going to be able to get him from a scalper, despite never having had any success at that his entire life. But eventually, he kind of walked around and was sort of discreet, and this guy's father met an older Canadian man, and there was a deal that went down, and he was going to sell this boy and his father tickets at the 50-yard line for face value. These cats are unbelievable. Stop.
You're ruining the story, Kitty.
He's gonna sell the tickets at face value. So he wasn't really trying to make money. He just had to get rid of them. So this guy and his father, they're standing kind of off to the side a little bit, sort of near a stairway. And right as this guy's father gets out money and the guy exchanges tickets, a cop, undercover, dressed as a Lions fan, he's wearing like an Oz Zaire Hakeem jersey. Says,
that's how you know he's undercover.
Yeah, that's how you know he's undercover.
No one's wearing that
No
jersey.
one else ever had one. I know that he comes out and he says, "Hey, hold it right there. I'm undercover. You guys are under arrest." Long story short,
did you? Not you? Did the
No, it wasn't me.
hypothetical boy?
I don't know who it was.
Did the hypothetical boy get in trouble?
No, he didn't. And the hypothetical boy's father, the cop took his license, and he took the other guy's license, and he took the tickets from the other guy, so he couldn't sell them again. But this hypothetical guy's father, no repercussions, and none for the boy either. But these kind of things do happen.
Wow. So I felt like that was there was a moral to that story, but then it was immediately undercut by the lack of consequences.
Yeah, there were no consequences. I guess the moral of the story is be discreet.
Huh.
Yeah. But I don't. I mean, I can't say much more. Like I said, I wasn't there, but
So the license was taken away forever?
No, I think he was like, oh, hey man, this hypothetical kid was only like 11, so his awareness was pretty limited. But yeah, they gave the license back, and I think the boy and his father procured tickets from a different scalper and went to the game and had a pretty good time. So.
Oh my.
Yeah,
what a great hypothetical story.
Just hypothetical. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might not even be true. So
might not. You heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Well, that is interesting.
Yeah.
These people, Tim and Al, they had a lot more repercussions than the hypothetical story.
Definitely.
So we'll continue on with that in mind. Just be discreet, people.
Yeah.
At the play, Jill and Eileen are sitting there.
No, I'm just kidding.
Jill and Eileen are sitting, waiting for their boys to arrive. Jill has kind of given up and resigned herself to the fact that Tim, has disappointed her again. Eileen, though, is holding out hope that Al will be there. She knows how important Patso is to him, and she also knows the story. And there's another line about the definitive Patso, how Al describes himself as that. And another woman shushes them because they're talking so loudly, and as she does so, she wakes up her husband, so apparently no guys would like this play, and they get into a tiff, this woman and Jill and Eileen, and the actors on stage notice and yell at them as well, so they're not being discreet either.
And the husband wanted to go to the Red Wings game, too, apparently, because there's only two things going on in Detroit this evening, and it's this play or the Red Wings game. So those are the only two options. Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really amount to anything, but it is in the episode, so I guess we got to cover it.
That's right. Next scene is also in the episode, in jail.
Jail Jordan. Jail Jordan. There you go.
That's
Tim
a terrible nickname.
Apparently made a call. We didn't see it. I was thinking at this point, this is like a whole subgenre of like TV episodes wherein the main characters end up in jail for something relatively minor and spend the episode in jail only to be bailed out by like their wives or fathers or family members at the end. I feel like I've seen a million like 90s and 80s era sitcoms where the characters are in jail for just like 15 minutes of the episode.
Are you telling me you want to start Jailcast?
Jailcast! But yeah, I could think of there's a million examples of that, but this is yet another one.
This is the definitive one, actually.
No, I don't think so. I think the Fresh Prince one is the definitive one because it tackles racial profiling, things like that.
Well, there you go.
A little bit more weighty than this.
Yeah, this does not really tackle anything.
This doesn't tackle much of anything. Al and Tim are bickering a lot. I noticed, it's a set, obviously, and they're trying really hard to make it look like a jail, and with that comes they have some words scribbled on the walls, and one of them said "fight authority," which obviously a jail is going to have "fight authority" on the wall, goes without saying. And the other one was a little bit less clear, but as far as I could tell, it said "lost sauce." So I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a euphemism.
That's just a sad message of desperation. Desperation.
So yeah, they are recognized eventually by prisoners. One of them in particular takes a shining to them recognizing them from their show, as people are wont to do. I didn't get his name. I know his name in real life, but did you write George? His name is George.
Yep.
Came to me, and he's played by Mike Grief, and I got a bio on him. 81 credits to his name. He was in Epic Movie, Liar Liar, Ed TV, and he played a bailiff, ironically, in an episode of The Mentalist.
Wow, he really flipped the script on that one.
And these guys are they're like TV bad guys, so they basically look like modern bikers, I guess. Like, they have bandanas and wear leather and have tattoos. Not especially scary, but yeah. So he was in Jackson Prison. I thought that was a nice piece of realism, but I don't really have much else, on this scene.
I mean, Al, as you can imagine, is wound pretty tightly. He's worried about how they're going to come up with bail money. I don't know what the bail money would be. Based on your hypothetical story, it must be like $25.
I mean, you'd have to ask somebody else. I don't know.
No. Al's being stared at while Tim is making this call. Al is also worried that he's going to be ostracized at bingo. People want to sit next to a criminal.
Yeah, and Tim he's keeping it cool. Al is just freaking out in jail. He's losing his cool.
Yeah, but that's about it for this scene. So we move home. At home, Wilson is helping Mark with a school project. Mark needs a lot of help with his school projects. Didn't he need help with like his solar system and?
Yeah, he's supposed to be supposedly a smart kid, or I perceive him as being a smart kid. He's always playing on his computer, and he tricked his dad with the money a few episodes back. But yeah, you're right. He is a little bit too reliant on adults.
Yeah, and in this case, he is making paper mache. Wilson, he has some question about Wilson shares some information about the origin of the name of paper mache.
Super interesting stuff.
Super interesting. So interesting, we're going to make you look it up yourself. Mark, he's impressed that Wilson has so much information, and Wilson knows all this stuff because he has a tremendous amount of spare time in his hands.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which I thought was funny,
yeah.
While Wilson, and we should say Wilson's face is covered up by this paper mache, the boys, the bedroom boys, Smooth R&B, they're trying to sneak out so they can go to Courtney's party, but Wilson catches them out of the corner of his eye, so they're stopped. And he teaches them a lesson. Rules aren't made to stop you from having a good time. They're to make you responsible. And just as he says this, Tim calls from the jail. And the only other note that I have for this scene is that Randy is wearing a sweet, Kangol hat, like Michael Scott.
Yeah, he's like Date Mike. I feel like Date Mike comes up every couple episodes on this. Kirsten's walking by, and even she thinks Date Mike has made too many appearances. I like the Kangol. Date Mike, nice to meet me. How do you like your eggs in the morning? I took note of that as well. That's the best part of the scene. One thing he notes that I don't necessarily know how this comes up, but they want to sneak out, and he's like, why? They're like, why don't you let us? And he said, because your mom, put me in charge of this, and she's paying me $5 an hour, which I thought sounded low, but I looked it up in the minimum wage in 1995. You want to guess what it was?
Oh, $4 something, right?
$4.25.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's low. That's low. Minimum wage in Chicago is about to be $13. So,
well, 90s money was worth a lot more.
Stagflation, baby. I'm not sure if that's the correct use of that, but one thing to note about this is, Randy, he gets this call that his dad's in jail, and he really takes it in stride.
He's just not surprised
really
at all.
Takes it in stride. Yeah. I can tell you one thing: that hypothetical boy in the hypothetical story from earlier did not take those things in stride nearly as well as Randy does.
He was hypothetically terrified.
He was hypothetically kind of perturbed by the whole situation, but no big deal. So he told me. I don't know.
If you're wearing a Kangol hat, you can kind of take anything.
I can tell you that hypothetical boy was not wearing a Kangol hat, so that might have been the problem.
That was the problem.
Yep.
That was the problem. Any other problems with this scene?
No, it's fine. We didn't play a clip because Wilson doesn't say anything especially interesting.
Yeah, we're going to be clipless.
Clipless, that's all right every now and then.
Yeah, we had 2 clips last episode.
Classic rule of podcasting is always leave them wanting more clips. And
we're going to do that today. We're also going to go back to the play.
Next scene, we're going to the play, Jordan, and they're watching the play, and they're still kind of concerned, or Eileen's more concerned than Jill is about their mans. Eventually, an usher comes up. And he says, a man named Wilson. It's very like sitcom-y. A man named Wilson called, and your husband's are in jail. You got something else?
Well, first he says, you're coming with me. You need to go to jail.
Right, yeah. He does. He does say that, and they're like, for talking?
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's funny, but then he says, a man named Wilson called. Sounded like Vincent Price, sort of. A man named Wilson called, and your husbands are in jail. So he says, we can't talk about this anymore here. It's Pazzo.
So did Wilson have to describe them over the phone? Because how would this usher know them otherwise?
I wish we would have gotten that scene. Yeah, one of them's about 5'8", full-figured. No, she's not full-figured, but...
so that's just logistical questions. But
per usual.
They're not... I mean, I guess Eileen's probably pretty upset that Al's in jail, but... I don't know if Jill is. I don't remember. We only watched it once.
I watched it. I'd say 1.5 times because the second time I was doing a lot of other things. But no, Jill she doesn't seem real surprised by any of it. Much like Randy wasn't. Everything was always
like mother, like son.
We were always heading to this.
We always were. And now we're headed to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Jailbirds and Red Wings, baby.
Mm-hmm. So Al refuses to sit. Since it's pretty dirty, Jill and Eileen arrive, and there's some grunting going on in the cell. It would have been nice if it was Tim grunting,
Yeah.
but we don't get that kind of grunting.
It's kind of, if you actually think about it, it's sort of dark. A woman comes in, all these guys are just sort of, acting like.
Well, I think it is dark
apes.
until that the bailiff is like, don't be don't be flattered. They do it to me.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to tell if this is like a legitimate. It seemed more like a drunk tank. So I don't think these guys are. You need to be especially afraid of these guys.
I don't know. That's not why George is in there.
Yeah, we didn't mention this. He's in there because he tried to put a tattoo on somebody that didn't want one.
Yeah, I don't know how that situation happened, but
yeah, it's weird. Also, I mean, there's a lot of other things I'm more afraid of than that happening. By the way, like that's near the bottom of my list of fears.
I mean, it's on your list, so I guess that's...
Yeah, but it's it's like it's getting stomped by an elephant and that are pretty close to one another. They're just things that I don't really.
And you've probably
happening.
been more likely to be stomped by an elephant.
Yeah, Jordan, I've done some traveling in my day, but we're not here to talk about that.
It's been 45 minutes since Al and Tim have been in this jail, but Al is being very dramatic about this whole experience. He's acting like they've been there for weeks. Jill says, I was mad at you. This is kind of how this, you wonder how the resolution is going to wrap up between Jill and Tim. Yeah. Jill says, I was mad, but I can't be mad at you because you're in jail, which I don't think is really legitimate. She could definitely, she could be more mad at him now, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess, what's she going to do? Like, she knew it's not like he lied to her about doing this. Like, he was trying to do what he said he was going to do, but he just got caught. It's more just, like, stupid. But, I would be sort of frustrated I had to leave the play. But don't worry, George has another
He's
plan
got a good idea.
Well, George, he suggests a Sunday matinee. And they act as if they've never heard of a matinee in their lives. Like, is this such a foreign idea?
They probably don't know what brunch is either.
They would love 2018 because this is brunch city, especially around these parts. Yeah, basically George kind of plans out a whole nice Sunday date, afternoon for them.
And they follow through on it.
And they follow through on it in the final scene. Jordan, you've been speaking clearly and doing well this
Seems
episode.
like I should take it.
So you finish strong. Yeah.
So we're at the matinee. It's the end of the play, or so we think. Tim pretends that he loved it. I think he might have been sleeping, probably. Yeah. But he's surprised when he gets up and he is told it's only intermission and he's still got the other half of the play to go. So rough day for Tim,
Yep.
Jail, matinee.
Roll credits fade to black, but there is a blooper. I did watch the blooper this time.
Whoa.
Did you watch it?
In passing, yeah.
Okay.
I just, since you don't watch him anymore, I try not to watch him.
Basically, Tim.
It's a jailbreak.
Yeah, it's a jailbreak. Everybody breaks, and then one of the gentlemen picks up Eileen and runs out with her, and trying to think about what's going to happen there. And then we roll credits fade to black. Jailbirds and Red Wings, aka No Godot.
AKA Flannel is the new black.
Yeah, do you want to explain that to me? Like, what's the tie into the show?
It was just basically a play on the series Orange is the New Black. Okay,
yeah, and they are in prison in that. Okay, yeah, see? I knew you would eventually. I just had to ask again.
You wouldn't have remembered if I didn't bring it up there.
No,
I had to get that in.
Had to. Jordan, highs and lows of this one. I don't know that we did a great job walking through the plot, but we did the best job we could do today.
To be honest, I felt like we did an adequate job because I felt like this just was an episode that there's not a lot to it. Yeah. It's very straightforward. There's not a real compelling conflict or really any conflict going on here.
No.
It's fun to have some new sets. They go to the play, they go to the jail. There's not a lot of good lines. I did like the noir scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was fun, and it's a fine episode. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna really remember it going forward because it's inconsequential.
All right, I'm gonna tell you. This is how I would describe this episode.
Oh,
pleasant. It was pleasant. It was pleasant. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, harmless. There weren't. You're right. There weren't a lot of great lines or bits of dialogue where that stood out to me necessarily, but I did like it. I guess at this point I kind of like it anytime they go anywhere else on the show and there's some different locations, and I thought that the jail stuff was pretty funny. I liked it when they got busted by the cop, and this is basically mostly all out of the house. So yeah, it's fun enough. I think we've covered some more lackluster ones lately, so maybe this just stacks up well in comparison. But the kids have a little something to do. Tim and Al and Gale is a fun idea. Even I don't know how much more we'll see of Eileen, but Jill and Eileen at the theater or play or what have you, getting into it with the woman in front. It's it's pleasant. So it's 6.5 out of 10. Pleasantville,
Pleasantville, population 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's time for a Sean's social media roundup.
It is, isn't it?
It is. So if you'd like to reach out to us, go to thehomeimpodcast.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/homeimpodcast. Twitter, our handle is @homeimpodcast. If you'd like to support the show, get special tidbits, behind the scenes, outtakes. There's a lot in this episode.
There's a lot of stuff that's going to be left on the cutting room floor. So.
Yep. So if you want access to our hijinks even more so, you can donate to us for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/homeimpodcast. And Adam, with that, I'm just kind of wondering, what have you been doing on Twitter? What's going on there?
Biggest news on Twitter is Boogie Cousins is going to the Warriors for $5.3 million. So, other than that, on the Home Podcast front, Jordan, at this exact second, Twitter seemed to be down. Either that, or I just don't really have anything new to say about it. So
either you're lying, or
you decide which one it is. No, I mean, I think nothing new to report on Twitter. Follow us there. Just some really good stuff been going on around these parts. So join the fun, join the party, join the extravaganza. Jordan,
do we have a name for our followers?
Potties? No, I don't think so. No, I think a lot of people use that. Homies, but that's been taken by Carmen Finestra. You'll hear more about the homies. In several weeks. We did record. I mean, we should talk about. I mean, we could just say we recorded the episode with Carmen, and it'll be coming out near our 100th episode. And he was gracious enough to give us about an hour. So you can look.
There's a lot of behind the scenes home improvement, like start of the show, casting, really cool information.
Yeah, there's a lot of ball busting too. Some of it misguided, but
Well, there's a lot of confusion on that as well. So,
but it's good on the home improvement front. So I think everybody will enjoy that.
Adam, you did post a great tweet about Richard Karn holding a dog.
Yeah, I did.
That's kind of blown up on Twitter. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's got our repost has gotten 2 likes, so it's huge.
About as good as always.
About as good as it gets. No, I mean, yeah, it's a slow week here on Twitter. But Jordan, do you have a question for me?
I do. Okay. Several, mostly related to hypothetical people and stories.
Well, I can only do so much. I can maybe guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, luckily for you, I've got another question that's not so hypothetical. I'm wondering. You're a sophisticated theater man. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite play that you've ever seen?
I'm going to tell you something. I don't know off the top of my head if I have really ever been to musicals and plays. Are those kind of interchangeable? Because I don't know.
Yeah, you can musicals fine.
Okay. So
because I guess mine's technically a musical.
Oh man. I would say Jersey Boys, I saw in Las Vegas probably 5 years ago, and that's the story of Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. And I like Frankie Valli and the music, and yeah, I think that's probably the first thing that's coming to mind. It was a big Vegas production, so obviously a lot of fun and sort of extravagant. But I haven't been to a lot of plays necessarily. If I'm going to do something like that, I'd rather go see like a comedy show or something.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily my forte.
Cup of tea.
Yeah, per se. But I would say Jersey Boys is probably the most fun I've had. What about you?
Let's see. I've been to a few. My favorite one was let's see. It was probably about 5 years ago as well. I was in Chicago on a work trip with a friend, and we had a night where we didn't have anything to do, and we checked. I don't think. I don't think SeatGeek was around, but it was like StubHub or something.
Right.
And there was a Book of Mormon show just like steps from our hotel. So we went to see that, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that always looked really fun. The unfortunate thing about like Broadway and musicals and
they're expensive.
It's so expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's just really, really expensive. I actually, on my way to work, I walk by where they do the Chicago production of Hamilton. Which I know obviously Hamilton was a big thing and continues to be, but I'm going to be hard pressed to ever want to spend like $150 to see a play.
There's a lot that come at the Dr. Phillips Art Center is like
obviously everybody knows the Dr. Phillips Art
Center. I was just going to say it's like this state of the art like brand new thing that they built a couple of years ago, and so a lot of really cool shows and comedians and musical guests and all that kind of stuff come there. But then I look at tickets and it's like, man, I can't really justify this.
That's why we need more Patreon action, frankly. So.
That's why we need more Patreon action. Just down the road, I think there's a student-led Osceola Arts thing. I'm not sure how good those productions would be. I think you're better off skipping that and skipping any of the community theater stuff either. I just... I don't know. You get what you pay for, and I think it really shows when you're near the stage, Jordan. That's true.
That's true.
So instead, I'm just going to keep going to the Orlando SAC Improv because they're amazing.
All right. Well, hey, shout out to them. They are our sponsor this week, so it's logical. They just haven't paid us or corresponded at all,
or even know that we exist.
Yeah, nor do they know we. Well, they probably do. But Jordan, what are we covering next week? I suspect it's something that is a little bit different, and I will talk to you behind the scenes about how we intend to handle these. But tell the fine people.
Well, it's kind of a surprise and a shock to me, the name of this episode, because it's Tool Time After Dark.
Yeah, it is, which is a clip-based episode, so we'll see how we navigate that. Two clip-based episodes in a row, so I don't know. I'm not sure necessarily that I want to talk about the same clips again, nor do people want to hear us talk about the same clips again. But again, Jordan, this is a conversation for behind the scenes.
Perhaps that's when we do our live episode.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible. Yeah, I mean, who can really say? Next week's Home Improvement After Dark, a.k.a.
Tool Time
After Dark, a.k.a. Home Improvement After Dark, a.k.a. Home Podcast After Dark. Jordan, anything else you want to put out there?
Nah, I'm good.
Nah, we're good. It's been a doozy of an episode. I think it's really going to come together well when you cut it. So please make it sound better than it actually was.
It's going to be a lot of work.
Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everybody.